lovely friends, we're going to have them go down the line and introduce themselves.
I'm Stephanie Hayslip. Hi, I am the Loki wrangler for the website FangirlNation and the resident Cumber baby, as you can tell, and the resident horn chick. We have to keep our language.
So yeah, you did good. Next victim.
I'm Janelle Davila. I am from Eco Project Second Bus on the Planet, and thanks for my life when I'm not doing my real job, which is such a boring.
I'm Bethany Davis. I am the crafting columnist, and I work for Friends of PP staff for FangirlNation.
Hello! I'm Tony. Other than this, I work with animals, and I'm the comic book live event person on the website.
Oh, me. Hi, I'm A. Wright. I am an independent author. I write sci-fi, fantasy, genre-bending, steampunk. Pretty much anything you can think of that sounds awesome, I'll play with it. And I happen to be friends with these people.
She's really good too.
She has dragons on her books.
That one doesn't have the dragon on it. That's a special cover. She's had it right now.
No fighting. So today we're here to talk about why fangirls matter. A lot of this has to do with what's been going on with the internet. I'm sure a lot of you have seen a horrible hashtag called Gamergate. We want you guys to know it's safe to be a fangirl. It's okay. Screw that crap. It'll be fine. It'll blow over. And if it doesn't, do you know how many of us there are? So just a couple facts and figures. I mean, did you see the award-winning list for the Nebula Awards this year? It's the first time there have been more female winners than male winners. I have my little fact sheet because there's an amazing smaller con up north called Geek Girl Con. They have a whole webpage of fun facts. Nearly 45% of all video game players are women. I actually talked to a guy from SGN, which is the social gaming network. He said 60% of players for their new games are women. We have a lot more buying power than people expect. We make about 83% of the purchases for our households. We've got 46% of the people who buy the video games. This includes moms. We also have more female writers in comics than ever. Kelly Sue DeConnick, Gail Simone, Nancy Collins. Vampires. For the first time, Vampirella, I'm not afraid to read it. I'm so excited. It's like, wait, no, you're still sexy and you're smart? Yes, finally. Okay. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to ask these lovely ladies some questions. We're going to do some trivia real quick. We're going to go to the questions. Then at the very end, we're going to take your questions. So if there's anything that's like burning in your minds about anything that's going on in the geek world right now, let us know. We're going to start with some trivia, and I got a lot of stuff to give away. Does anybody over here want to start?
I can start. So since I am the horror movie chick, my trivia question is, let's do this. So this is an actual voodoo ritual bag from New Orleans. It brings love and passion. So if anyone out there is single, you need this. And my question would be, what pair of twin sisters directed the horror movie American Mary? This lovely lady.
I just watched it like 3 months ago. And they're in it.
Yeah.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
The Saska sisters. You can have it. You knew what I was talking about. No, that's enough for me.
Careful of that part.
Yeah, they want to swap their arms, yeah. In the show, in the movie, it's about body modification and body modification on the black market, basically. And this pair of twins, who are also the directors, are really creepy, and they're known for being really creepy. And they go to American Mary and say that they want to switch arms with their twins, so they're part of each other on a very high level. It's weird. It's weird.
So now another less frightening question.
You gonna go?
I get all the mics. Okay, so this is kind of some classic 80s movies, early 90s. Name the 3 terrors of the fire swamp from The Princess Bride.
That's what I did. I was like, oh, that's a great question.
I didn't watch The Princess Bride.
I think you were first.
Lightning sand, the rodents of unusual size, and I don't know what they're called, the fire jets, but yeah,
Fire spurts, that's close enough.
Yeah.
You win How to Survive a Sharknado. I got one. Who lives at 1630 Ravello Drive, Sunnyvale? I saw you all the way back first.
Fluffy.
You're far. Come up here. You win Firefly money.
It's really pretty. I almost took it.
Yeah, we were trying to.
We're like 4 of us. We're like, oh, just.
No, this is one sheet.
Really?
Yes.
This is what happens. You're watching. She's calling emergency for her mom. She gives them the actual address, and then it's in a town that doesn't exist.
I fast forward to that episode. That was really,
Anything else?
Are you looking at me?
I am looking at you.
Everyone's looking at me, so that means me. So I'm going to do a book-ish one. It's a bookish. Okay, does everyone remember Rue in the Hunger Games? This is a 2-parter. What district is she from, and what is the industry of that district? And you're going to get one of them.
Agriculture in District 11.
Bravo!
You should have started. We were like, what was it? Was it 12? I don't even know what it was.
I was like, which prize are we? Yes, book. Okay. What booth are you at with all your books today?
Oh, I'm at Artist Alley 1331. I have candy. And dragons. Sorry.
All right, so we're going to do a little bit more trivia before we get to questions later on, but we're going to go into questions now. So my question is for you ladies. What are your fandoms and what got you started as a fan?
How much time we got?
Well, not that much time, Tony.
Well, since I started. Let's see. My fandoms are Book World, most definitely. My biggest poison was Babysitter's Club. And then Doctor Who, which is where I met Mike over there. And comic books, video games, Magic the Gathering, board games, cats, dragons.
Cats are fandom.
They're a total fandom. I'm a
Fangirl into the day.
I have no shame.
That's fine.
You love me?
Me?
Miss Ryden.
Me. Okay. Obviously books. Duh. I write books. I'm a huge video game nerd. I was a WoW head for like forever. And I love Dragon Age, and I love Mass Effect, and Assassin's Creed. So it's either books or video games. I love comics too, but I'm like, I'm playing video games, I'm writing a book. So that's pretty much it.
I'm a cook while we could like read comic books while I'm cooking.
That's still a life skill.
There you go.
I kind of just grew up in a geek household. Like, my dad ran around the house shouting inconceivable, and he read me Tolkien for bedtime stories, so fantasy was definitely my first, and it just kind of snowballed into Dungeons & Dragons, and comics, and video games, and I was an endgame WoW raider during Burning Crusade, and yeah, it's anime, yeah, just everything now, pretty much.
Miss Jill.
A whole lot of sci-fi fantasy. Like I said, yeah, there was never a time, like, I didn't know Star Wars and Star Trek and all that good stuff. Because it's funny, people talk about, well, I don't know if my child's old enough for Star Wars. I'm like, pretty sure there's not an old too young, because it's been my whole life. So yeah, just kind of always in everything. It's like mostly sci-fi, fantasy, TV, books, movies, it's kind of that.
I grew up in a geek household too. Probably started with Star Trek. Next Gen and then moved into the original series after that. I was able to put on Bjorn noses when I was 9. And after that, mainly paranormal and horror movie stuff, horror-centric things. I am a Whedonverse freak in a big, big way. And Dresden Files, Doctor Who, and just a dozen different things. Like Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, IDW, yeah.
I feel like I'm the woo girl for like Fangirls.
That's okay. That's encouraged. Keep doing it. So this is kind of a sad question, but I'm going to ask, have you guys ever been attacked in the fan community? I know I have.
I have. I mean, sexual harassment is something that I don't think any of us really need to get into because it's kind of a soapbox thing. They'll go on for hours. But I tend to get snubbed a lot, especially in the horror movie community. Oh, she's a girl. She doesn't know. And I'm kind of going, oh, I do. I'm sorry. I watch Hellraiser to relax. And Devil's Reject is in my top 3 movies. Audition is one of my favorites. And The Eyes Without a Face is one of my favorites. That's a French horror movie from 1960, whatever. And people just kind of go, oh, you like horror movies, that's nice, and just move on. And I'm kind of going, okay. I'm not going to push.
I just love horror, and they're all female.
I have no, I'm a very big person of like, I'm not gonna mess with that because it starts a lot of animosity, and that's just not my deal.
And I mean, the second you acknowledge it, you give them power.
Exactly.
So if you acknowledge that they're being dismissive of you, you just give them a point. So don't do it. I do the same thing. It's, oh, you write books, you're a girl, you write fantasy? Oh, okay, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, well, I can name like $1 million. Oh, no, it's okay. It's cool. That's my answer.
Or I could do what I do, is like overpowering them with my crazy energy. Because like, usually like, the most thing I'll ever get is like, I'll get snubbed. So the worst case I got was at a board game group, and I wanted to play, I forget what it was. Oh, Pandemic. I wanted to play Pandemic. And this guy was like, okay, sure, you can borrow my game. I barely walked by, he goes, you know what, never mind. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I want to screw something else anyway, so I'm going to do something else. And I was like, Rah! And then, so I'm usually pretty loud and like exuberant, so usually either comic store or like gaming, they'll like go, okay, yeah, sure. And then they'll like, oh, you're really into this. There is no question about it. And then they're like, okay, you're kind of cool now. So that just is, I'm kind of overpowering that way. Kind of hard to warn me.
I think Twilight is one of the worst things that happened to fangirls. Thank you. I'm not afraid to say it. No, I am a big vampire fan. I always have been since I was a little girl. And now when I say, oh, I like vampire stories, people are like, oh. Stupid you like sexy vampires who sparkle. No. I would throw Edward in the fire if I could.
It used to be for like vampires, like in the 90s, they're like, oh, so you're a Buffy fan.
Or you're an Anne Rice.
Oh,
yeah.
For me, it was always, oh, Anne Rice.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, actually, Stoker to find you, but okay.
Yeah.
But Anne Rice is cool too, so never tell everybody. All right, so on a happier note, what are some awesome things that have happened because you're a fangirl?
I was going to take this since I didn't get to answer the last one.
Do you want to answer? Answer it.
Okay. Well, I've had some pretty creepy experiences that I'm not going to go into too much detail. I had a stalker who, it culminated in him inviting me to a private photo session in his basement. So, we're not going to go much into that. One of the more irksome things that I always kind of still gets my goat is I was buying comics and I was buying them with other females. But something about me, when I walked up to the cashier, I was buying my Thor, which I'm dressed as Enchantress. So, yeah, Thor. And the guy said to me, oh, I'm sorry, do you like Chris Hemsworth or do you like Thor?
Oh.
Both.
Christian watching movie dude.
Yeah, but I'll start with positive too, since I already put mine.
Go for it.
I think for me the coolest thing was one of the first pieces that I ever made, because I do a lot of artwork. It was a bookshelf. It was like a fairy nature-themed bookshelf, and I put it up online for the first time in a gallery, and had a elementary school English teacher email me and tell me that he really loved my piece and he wanted to bring it to his classroom and have all the kids make them because he thought it would really inspire them to read. And like to me that was the coolest thing. I'm such a bookworm, so like to think that my art was out there and was making kids excited to read was just the coolest thing.
I'll start again. So it's kind of like a weird thing, but the biggest happiness fangirl moment for me was actually working for not only this website, but also for another website I contribute for, Smart Girls Love Sci-Fi, and that's a science fiction romance website. So two different instances just kind of reaffirmed that I am so dang happy to what I'm doing right now. One was I wrote a review about a book by Mary Robinette Cowell, and she's a really amazing science fiction author, and she actually commented on my blog, and I literally lost my everything in like an hour, and I was incoherent. I was so freaking happy that the author reached out and said, you know, wow, pretty awesome, but by the way, that was the second book, the one that didn't make any sense to me. And the second one was actually for this website, I was writing a review about Sally the Wasteland, and I enjoy this comic so freaking much. And I was scared at first because it was described as like Mad Max with Grindhouse, and I'm a wuss, and I can't do that. But I was like, yeah, the artwork's pretty. And the artwork is really great, and the story was fun. And the artist, like, sent a letter to Victoria saying, oh, I'm really happy that you're right, you loved it. And I was like, oh my god, people are reading my stuff. This is really awesome.
Oh, and Titan Comics loves you forever, by the way.
That's funny.
I think honestly, what I really love is just the community, because I was a loner in school. You know, I had my one friend, and we bonded over Babylon 5, you know? And, you know, I didn't realize that there were more of us, you know? And then, like, I had sort of, like, drifted away from the fangirl stuff in my early 20s, and then I met my boyfriend, and he's like, we have to start going to conventions again. I'm like, I went to conventions. I was doing Star Trek conventions at 14. He's like, no, they're different now, hon. You gotta come. And I'm like, you know, and so it is that, like, I like to forget that there's a real world, because this is my real world. People are like, you know, when they talk about, like, Comic-Con, it's like, you go to escape, but I'm like, no, not really, because that's where I am most myself, is when I'm at conventions. I don't have to, like, oh, I have to wear a suit to work, and I have to probably stop talking about Doctor Who, because when your boss realizes what kind of birthday presents to get you, you probably talk about it a little too much. But, you know, that's it. But it's like, it's a place where I get to be completely myself, you know, and I can't be myself anywhere else. And so, this is reality. This is the ultimate me right here when I'm at a convention. It's not real life, just for real life, that's boring. This is where I get to be myself. So that's why I'm here.
What else can you like? Go, oh my god, Loki! You know it's gonna freak out. Well, maybe a little bit, but still.
He's cool with it, by the way, because I did that at Long Beach. He's fine. He's fine.
Anyway, Stephanie?
Oh, I think the biggest thing that it did for me besides community was a big thing. Her story is very much like mine. But also it just made me more self-confident. You know, in high school and even through a lot of college, people just didn't get me. And it made me feel bad, and it made me feel awkward. And finally, I don't know, I woke up one day and I said, you know what? I've got great friends. I've got a great community. I love my life. And you know, if I like watching this show, if I like watching this book or talking about something weird that no one knows what I'm talking about, then it's their problem. It's not my problem. If they want to talk about it, you know, how weird I am, talk about me. I don't care. Like, I don't need you in my life, period.
Yeah, that's kind of the stage that I got to. you know, middle school was really hard, and then in high school, I had this amazing science club. And we didn't just do science things. We built revolver machines, we played D&D, we played Magic, and I just got to this point of self-confidence where, yeah, I was like, you know what, I have my friends. If you don't like what I like, if you don't like me, that's not my problem. You know, and it was really freeing to get to that stage.
So I'm going to put mine in too because I'm all excited about this. So last year was the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, hardcore fan. Where's Gallifrey? Where the F is Gallifrey? I got to go to the 50th anniversary celebration in London, and it was amazing because you could talk to people on the underground who were all going, including an 8-year-old boy. We were talking about the fact that I had the right sonic screwdriver for River Song, just in case everybody was asking. And it was so welcoming and so loving, and there was a point where I got to go on the current set of the TARDIS, and I lost my mind a little bit, but it was kind of amazing because nobody was questioning you or judging you. Even the people who were working there at the BBC lot in Wales were like, no, this is the best job ever. They're like, can we do trivia? We're like, okay. And they're like, okay, so in this episode, and then like you would give them a point and they'd go, I didn't know that. Where'd you find that? And you're like, oh, on this website. I was doing research here. And then they'd start speaking in Welsh because they were really excited, which was really cool. Yeah, geeks across the pond, yeah, are awesome too. It's a little more subdued there, but then you're on the underground with people in costume, and we're all looking at each other. We're in some illicit club, going, "Your costume." Just to add on to that a little bit, for a while I was part of the Tide members of Los Angeles a little bit, and I think I was kind of one of the youngest members at the point, and a lot of people were like average age 50, 60, and this is before it went really huge. So I'm like trying to sneak in. I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff. I just know like Tennant. And like this guy was like, oh, you like Doctor Who? I'm like, yeah, who's your favorite Doctor? David Tennant. Oh, and then it just went on. And I'm like, well, I don't know what thing you're talking about. This is really cool, accepting. Doctor Who is all about acceptance. All right, so where do you guys draw your strength from when you're, in a con situation? Because sometimes it can be overwhelming. And how do you protect yourself online? I'm looking.
I'll start. My inspiration, obviously from close friends and family. They're obviously a smack in the face. They're really supportive. I am also from my fans. It's really, really cool. Oddly enough, most of my, or I would say 65% of my fans are men who read my books. They're men. I didn't know that until someone was like, no, literally, like, all my guy friends, a whole military unit's read the book, and they, like, had a book cover, which is weird to me. So cute. We're really kind of cute. So, I will not comment. So it's really cool to have some of those people come in costume. They're wearing their Doctor Who, or their, the Captain America, whatever, and they come and they're like, oh my god, and I'm like, somebody here? And they're just really supportive, and that's a huge inspiration to me because obviously I'm doing something right. If they want to come and say, I love your book, cool, when's the next one? Well, I'm work faster.
Which she's also getting from me.
Which I'm getting from her. And the other part of the question was what? Sorry, I got something.
How do you protect yourself online?
Well, I use a pen name, and there's actually, really quickly, the side story with my writing is a pen name. It's not a secret. In fantasy, if you're a fantasy author, unless you're already pretty famous, if you don't have a gender-neutral or male-sounding name, they will not buy you. It's a fact. It's sad. It's disappointing, which is why I'm excited about the most recent Nebula Awards. When I was thinking about using my real name, which is very feminine, it's Rebecca, I got told don't do it by about 3 professionally published lit agents. They're like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So to protect myself, I have that in there, of course, so it's a pen name. And I'm kind of on the attitude where I don't enable people. If you don't like my stuff, fine. If you don't like it because I'm a girl, fine. If you don't like girl writers, fine. I'm me. You don't have to like me. If you hate my book, throw it in the trash, fine. And I just at this point where I don't enable people, so if they send me the hate mail or the fan mail, whatever, if you send me fan mail, I'll answer. If you send me hate mail, I'm not going to answer because you can't let that get into your head. Even if you're a cosplayer or a writer or an artist, the second it gets in your head, it's just self-destructive and it's this little spiral, and I refuse. I won't do it. So, most of my inspiration actually comes from the people that I'm surrounded with. So everybody I know has been connected to me through anything geeky. Like, I run 3 book clubs, and some of my book club members are actually here. Or I'm part of the cosplay groups, or Doctor Who club, or anything. And like, they all understand me, and especially when like I lost my job a few months ago, like everybody I know was completely supportive. Like every time I was like, I'm feeling really down right now, there's a Doctor Who meme right there waiting for me on my Facebook. Like, or hey, let's go watch a movie. It has Daniel Radcliffe. It was horns. It was actually really cool. So I draw my inspiration from that. I especially draw my inspiration from my boyfriend because he's been really, really encouraging everything weird about me. That is his fault. So there is no boundary to my energy. I'll be like, oh hey, I have this idea for a book. He goes, that's great. Write it down. I haven't wrote anything down because I'm scared. But he's always encouraging me, and that's awesome. As for the negative online thing, I don't have quite a strong online thing other than like Warcraft or Facebook, but it's more like in-person negativity. It comes from people from my high school or from ex-coworkers. And please silence your phone.
My father-in-law, it had to be my father-in-law. No one else ever called me during conventions at all because they know I don't pick up my phone. Except my father-in-law, he called me 3 times a day. How's the booth going? Shh, we're still talking.
During the first panel, sit on guilty.
So a lot of things would be like, oh, wow, you're like 30 and you're still into this? I'm like, yeah, it's super awesome. I'm so happy. What are you doing? Oh, you're drunk. That's bad. I love how you're judging me. Oh. That's how I do it. I just get really happy, and it's kind of hard for people to continue being negative towards me because I'm like, there's this like really cool episode. There's like a robot, and like, oh my god, and like, ugh. They're like,
It's really hard to be sad or upset when somebody says something negative to you around this girl. Just FYI.
and if you continue, then I'm sorry, you need to go to a doctor.
My mom just tells me, I love you. I don't understand anything you just wrote about, but I still love you.
My boss just shouts across the office's point, you're so weird. I don't know, I kind of refer to my friends group and myself as a swirling vortex of geek. We kind of just drag each other in to whatever, someone discovers something new and the next thing we're all doing it, which is really fun. We don't really we'll have like our fun debates about things, but there's never the competition of I'm geekier than you because I know these 6 facts, and it's never really a competition. So we're all just very supportive of each other, and that helps a lot. Like sometimes I forget that there's non-geeks in the world. Because I'm always at conventions or with my friends, and I'm like, oh, you're a normal person. Hi. Like, talk to them about it. Yeah, so sometimes I kind of just forget. I don't really have negativity online problems. At cons, I kind of always suggest, make sure you're with people that you can trust and that you know are going to be there to back you up, and keep your cell phone charged. It's simple, but like, okay, yeah, that one last selfie, great, but now you're like in a dark alley with no phone coverage and you're in a horror movie, so,
Why
just stuff
sell
like that.
batteries in
Honestly, a lot of the inspiration, actually, my grandma was a total geek, and I didn't realize it until much later in life. Because all that stuff was normal. Like I said, there was no, so when we were going through my grandma's stuff and she passed away, we're like, oh, look, and here's your Tolkien shelf. Because, of course, my grandma had a Tolkien shelf, And, she used to sit down and she used to read us, comic strips from the newspapers. We wanted to be read to, so was what she was going to read to us. And so it's funny because now we like geek girls were thing, which is irritating sometimes, but we can all band together, that's cool, but grandma's a freak. I mean, who would have thought, and so my grandma was really amazing, and also one of the shows I did years ago, there was this, we had an artist that was working with us, and he had all of this artwork. So it's artwork of Leonard Nimoy. And this little old lady walked up to the booth, and she's like, oh, and we're like, oh, what? She's like, Leonard Nimoy. It makes my heart a little better. I can't take it. I was that like, I'm like, I want to be 80 walking around a convention going, David Tennant.
I think we're gonna do that.
And it was just like, because, like when she was a kid, it wasn't normal for girls to do that. My grandma was a kid, it wasn't normal for girls to do that. And so, in a world where it's so much more normal to just totally be myself, it's so, you can go, you know what, my grandma could be crazy in the 50s, and why the heck do I have to not be myself right now? And negativity, I sell t-shirts online, so no one cares. If you don't like my shirts, you don't buy them.
And she makes a t-shirt about it.
And as far as the website that I run, the Geek Girl Project, I let my sister run it. It was my idea, but I let her run it, so she has to deal with all that. I don't.
I have pretty much the same answer. My friends, I have a lot of friends here today. And so, yeah, very much I forget that there are non-nerd people in this world because everyone I talk to, if they aren't necessarily nerdy, I pull what's nerdy out of them. Like, I'm in a show right now. It goes along with my presence online. I'm an actress, mostly on stage and musical theater, and I'm doing a show right now called Bronies the Musical. But yeah, so the whole point of the show is not about bronies and ponies. It's about loving what you love and not caring what other people think. If it makes you happy, then be happy about it. And we cover everything from comic books to fantasy football leagues in this show. And everyone is nerdy about something. They may not realize it, but they're nerdy about football. They're nerdy about...
Ultimate cosplayers.
Yeah. They're nerdy about Scandal. The show Scandal. They are nerdy about it, they just don't realize it. And I think that's what I've really began to understand in the past couple of years.
So in the end, why do you guys feel fangirls matter?
We have the money. There's so much of us. I mean, I think my favorite thing lately was at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy and the dancing group. Who did not think, I want that toy? And they didn't have that yet. Are you kidding me? We all want it, and now there's a freaking toy. Like, we have the buying power of everything. We're influencing everything at this point. Hell yes! I want some of this stuff. Like, awesome. I'm going to be broke again. But still, like, we have the money, we have the buying power. That's what all the companies and the marketing and all that whatever stuff, that's what they're looking at. Heck yeah, be vocal, because I want more Doctor Who stuff.
Can we just get DC to stop putting out the Batman's wife shirts?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I love you, DC. But it's kind of cool. Like, I know people who actually work for like DC and Marvel and stuff, and they're being vocal about this. They're actually going over to these ladies, and like going, okay, what do you guys think? I'm like, yes, more, go, keep going. So it's awesome. We have money, keep buying stuff.
Why female fans matter? I have a 6-year-old daughter, so when I think in terms of, she's walking around cosplaying as Elsa right now. She poses. I didn't teach her that.